Why are the Chinese oppressing East Turkestan? What do they want? What happens to the children whose parents are in camps? Were you tortured?
We were hiding whilst reading the Quran. We were chained, and armed soldiers were saying Chinese and Uyghurs are siblings. I was forced to say it. My now deceased father was jailed for teaching Islam. I saw the consequences of torture.
They say a Chinese man is placed in every house. Can you elaborate?
Instead of talking about this, if Sharia had allowed it, I would have committed suicide. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm Abdul Salam from East Turkestan. I'm the president of the East Turkestan New Generation Movement, and I'm completing my doctorate at Marmara University. We'll discuss East Turkestan today, inshallah.
Why are the Chinese oppressing East Turkestan? What do they want?
The Chinese want us to become Chinese. They want us to be cleansed of religion, race, national identity, and anything they consider to be an identity. In their opinion, there's either Chinese or the enemy of China. There's no third option. In short, after East Turkestan falls, then the Central Asian geographic region, and then they'll spread into the Islamic world. It can be foreseen.
Could you practice your religion there?
We did. Even until 1955, there were Sharia courts in East Turkestan. The last Islamic region where Allah's law was removed was from East Turkestan. After 1955, there were slow changes towards a completely atheist education system. And in East Turkestan, they tried to free society from Islam for 70 years. This resulted in millions who are now dying for the sake of the Shahada.
China's project, Become a Family. They say a Chinese man is placed in every house. Can you elaborate?
This isn't something I want to discuss. This is a matter of honor. Instead of talking about this, if Sharia allowed it, I would have committed suicide. The Become a Family project came about along with the camps. Mostly males were sent to concentration camps. They sent Chinese males into the homes of those sisters left behind. Official data was released by China for 2018 stating that over 1,100,000 officials visited 30 million families once or more. We see what kind of visit that is by the photos that are published. We get these photos from China's social media. They share these photos without shame. We know they even enter people's beds by force. In East Turkestan, even the knife in your home is screwed onto the wall.
The concentration camps are making headlines. Can you tell us about them?
Concentration camps are rare in history. In East Turkestan in the 21st century, concentration camps were restarted. At the end of April 2017, they started to detain people in camps because of their religion and national identity. China called these camps re-education camps, claiming they re-educate people. Re-education is just another name for atheism. In March, the U.S. Ministry of Defense released a report on the concentration camps, claiming that an estimated 3 million East Turkestan citizens are in camps. What's in these camps? Who's in there? What happens there? There are people who prayed a few times in their lives, those who worshipped, attended lectures, went to Hajj or to Umrah. Between 2013 and 14, a group of Chinese intelligence agency officers disguised as reporters, they visited every East Turkestan village with cameras and interviewed each household, asking, do you pray, do you worship, etc. The ones who answered truthfully are all now in concentration camps. First, the Chinese collected data, then they collected people from their homes one by one. Then they threw them into camps. What happens in the camps? China is confirming the teaching of atheism. The Chinese openly admit teaching the Communist Party ideology by force without the consent of the prisoners. This is what China declares. The Chinese don't tell us everything. There are many videos and images of violence. A sister fainted several times while being filmed telling her story because she relived it all again. Put the psychological and physical oppression aside. Even the confession of teaching atheism, according to international law, is a crime. But China has money, power. No one can question them.
What happens to those children whose parents are in camps?
The lucky ones are given to their relatives, but we verify that over 400,000 children are placed in children's camps, or what the Chinese call the School of Angels. The children's camps are rare in human history. Children aged between 4 to 12 years old, children whose parents are in camps, are taken from the age of 4 and given Chinese education with the aim of being raised as Chinese. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ. That's what we say. If they have tricks, but Allah has great wisdom. We believe in the wisdom of Allah and that this oppression will end in the hands of those children. In Pharaoh's castle, there was Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam took down the Pharaoh, whereas Pharaoh fed Musa alayhi salam. Pharaoh planned to teach him his ideology and leave him as successor. It was Musa alayhi salam who ruined his kingdom. We believe Musas will come out of these schools. Alhamdulillah.
Where is your family? Can you see them? Were they tortured?
Some of my family are here, but most of them are in East Turkestan. Since 2015, I haven't had contact with or received any information from my relatives in East Turkestan. My family members have been tortured. My late father was jailed between 1992 and 2000 for teaching Islam. I saw the consequences of torture. In fact, one of my uncles became a cardiac patient after the torture he suffered, and soon afterwards he passed away.
Which incident affected you the most in East Turkestan?
What impacted me the most was my journey memorizing the Quran. Because for the first time, we were hiding when reading the Quran. We carried the Quran in secret. Friends were jailed for reading the Quran. It was as though we were back in the 12th, 13th century again. We were doing things in secret. We had no running water. We went into lakes before morning prayer and brought back water because someone might see us in daylight and report us.
What can we do to stop this oppression? What are your expectations of the Islamic world?
Our expectations are from Allah, but to stop the oppression, there's two things I want. The first is spiritual. The second, financial. The spiritual one is supplications for East Turkestan. We've heard about this topic. Prayer is made for all Muslim nations, but East Turkestan is left out, and this hurts us deeply. We witness supplications for Muslim nations in Egypt, Mecca, and in Turkey. Yemen to Arakan is mentioned, but not East Turkestan. The name of East Turkestan isn't even being mentioned. We're hurt by this, and we hope that prayers are also made for East Turkestan, because we believe that a believer's biggest weapon is their supplication. A point that needs to be considered is Ali commanded, if you can't stop cruelty, then announce it. On that note, I want to thank Sozlar Köskü and those who create videos about East Turkestan and influencers on social media or organizations on other platforms. We hope they also show sensitivity to this topic. There's a lot to say, but only so much that can be done. These two requests can easily be carried out by everyone. We request prayers for East Turkestan and that it be on social agenda. Let it remain relevant so that the number of prayers rise and someone's prayer may be accepted. My Lord is all able. If He wills it, He'll make us a worry for the Chinese or the swift birds. That's in the hands of my Allah.